Japan announced its largest military buildup since World War II, with a $320 billion plan to buy missiles capable of striking China and prepare it for sustained conflict, as regional tensions and Russia's invasion of Ukraine stroke war fears. What has happened since World War II, and is it the largest military buildup since that conflict? To find out all about it, keep on watching this video till the end. For 2022, Japan is ranked 5 of 142 out of the countries considered for the annual GFP review. It holds a power index score of 0.1195, which is a score of 0.0000 is considered perfect. Based on current budgets, the expansive 5-year plan will elevate Japan to the position of third largest military spender in the world, behind the United States and China. To counter threats from China and North Korea, Japan develops a new national security strategy that calls for the largest military buildup since World War II. The Japanese government expressed concerns that Moscow has established a precedent that will be followed by China to attack Taiwan, endangering the nearby Japanese islands, and the documents outlining the strategy shift received the final approval from the cabinet. Japan has made the decision to stockpile spare parts and other munitions, develop cyber warfare capabilities, and further strengthen defense ties with the US in order to develop a strong counter-strike capability. In the following 5 years, the nation's security spending will rise from 1% of GDP to 2%, making it the third largest spender on defense in the world, behind Washington and Beijing. According to reports, the most recent weapons will be created under a new strategy and will be able to hit enemy targets 1,000 kilometers away. The nation will now receive about 500 Tomahawk cruise missiles. The discontinuation of Japan's domestic Aegis Ashore Ballistic Missile Defense (BDM) program is related to the integration of Tomahawk missiles into the country's defense forces. Japan decided against installing 2 Aegis Ashore BDM systems in 2020 due to its technical issues. The program's cancellation forced Japan to consider other deterrent strategies, including the possibility of buying Tomahawk missiles from the United States. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, who described Japan and its people as being a turning point in history, said the ramp-up was my answer to the various security challenges that we face. His government was worried that Russia had set a precedent that will encourage China to attack Taiwan, threatening nearby Japanese islands, disrupting supplies of advanced semiconductors, and putting a potential stranglehold on sea lanes that supply Middle East oil. This is setting a new heading for Japan. If appropriately executed, the self-defense forces will be a real world-class effective force, said Yoji Koda, a former Maritime Self-Defense Force admiral who commanded the Japanese fleet in 2008. The government said it would also stockpile spare parts and other munitions, expand transport capacity, and develop cyber warfare capabilities. In its post-war, American-authorized constitution, Japan gave up the right to wage war and means to do so. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a serious violation of laws that forbid the use of force and has shaken the foundations of the international order, the strategy paper said. The strategic challenge posed by China is the biggest Japan has ever faced, it added, also noting that Beijing has not ruled out using force to bring Taiwan under its control. A separate national security strategy document that pointed to China, Russia, and North Korea promised close cooperation with the United States and other like-minded nations to deter threats to established international order. The Prime Minister is making a clear, unambiguous strategic statement about Japan's role as a security provider in the Indo-Pacific, U.S. Ambassador to Japan, Rahm Emanuel, said in a statement. He has put a capital D next to Japan's deterrence, he added. Meeting Japan-Taiwan Exchange Association Chairman Mitsuo Hashi in Taipei on Friday, Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen said she expected greater defense cooperation with Japan. We look forward to Taiwan and Japan continuing to create new cooperation achievements in various fields, such as national defense and security, the economy, trade, and industrial transformation, the presidential office cited Tsai as saying. China accused Japan of making false claims about China's military activities in the new security strategy, according to a statement from its embassy in Japan. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin reiterated accusations Japan was ignoring facts, deviating from its commitment to China-Japan relations and the common understanding between the two countries, and groundlessly discrediting China. Hyping up the so-called China threat to find an excuse for its military buildup is doomed to fail, Wang said Friday at a daily news briefing. But what happened after World War II? After World War II, Japan adopted a new constitution written by the United States that prohibited the country from possessing or using weapons of mass destruction. It is stated in the strategy paper that Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a serious violation of laws that forbid the use of force and has shaken the foundation of the international order. It also noted that Beijing had not ruled out using force to bring Taiwan under its control, adding that this posed the greatest strategic challenge Japan has ever faced. Separately, a national security strategy document highlighted China, Russia, and North Korea as threats to the international status quo and pledged close cooperation with the United States and other like-minded nations to deter them. What's the angle of Ukraine? Retired Air Self-Defense Force General Toshimichi Nagewa said, "The Ukraine war has showed us the necessity of being able to sustain a fight, and that is something that Japan has not so far been prepared for. It's like Japan is starting a race 200 meters behind in a 400-meter dash," he continued. The Chinese government has a military budget that is more than 4 times larger than Japan's, a gap that widened after the turn of the century. According to a Reuters interview with military sources, Japan's top priority is fixing a shortage of munitions and spare parts that have grounded planes and other military equipment. Over the course of 5 years, Kishida's plan will increase defense spending by a factor of 2 to around 2% of GDP. This is significantly higher than the 1% threshold that the government has set for itself since 1976. It will make Japan the world's 3rd biggest military spender, after the United States and China, with the Defense Ministry's budget rising to about 1/10 of all public spending at current levels. With this largesse, Japan's defense contractors like Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, MHI, will be able to work on the design and construction of 3 longer-range missiles for Japan's new missile force. The next Japanese jet fighter will be a co-build by MHI, BAE Systems plc, and Leonardo SPA, according to an announcement made between the 3 countries last week. To that end, Tokyo's 5-year defense budget set aside $5.6 billion. In addition, foreign businesses will reap the rewards. Japan has indicated a desire to include Raytheon Technologies' Tomahawk cruise missiles, which are launched from ships, in its new deterrence force. Japan plans to purchase a large number of Lockheed Martin F-35 stealth fighters, as well as a large number of helicopters, submarines, warships, and heavy lift transport jets over the next 5 years for its armed forces. Kishida's ruling bloc announced earlier on Friday that it would increase tobacco, corporate, and disaster reconstruction income taxes to pay for the necessary machinery. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe had not yet announced a timeline for enacting tax increases that he promised, in part because of continued opposition to such measures within his ruling Liberal Democratic Party. According to the Japanese Defense Ministry, Prime Minister Kishida told his Finance Minister Shunichi Suzuki and Defense Minister Yasukazu Amada that Japan needed to urgently increase its defense budget by the fiscal year 2027. He also said that the government needs to review expenditures and revenue streams to decide how it can secure extra funding to increase the defense budget. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed today's video and found it interesting, then make sure to leave us a thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to be up to date with the latest content as soon as it's uploaded. Thanks for watching. See you again soon in another video.